Hi there, it's Ron McCracken. Just getting on here for a minute. I'm over by White Rock Lake doing some running and walking, and just wanted to talk for a few minutes about the Uvalde shooting and mental health, and some more thoughts on 3 years of sobriety. Now it's 3 years and 18 days of sobriety for me, and losing my health insurance next week. First of all, I consider it, even though it's not political, I consider it terrorism, what happened in Uvalde, and just an enormous tragedy. And for a lot of people like me, it's a trigger. It's a trigger for my PTSD. And I've told some of my friends that are clearly triggered by it, who continue to watch the news, both on video and reading about it, and get more and more triggered, to stop watching it, stop reading about it. I don't know a lot of the details about it, other than the bare basics, the age of the gunman and this and that. But I also read they went straight to making the assumption, that's probably correct, that he had at least one or two mental health conditions that led him to doing that. And that may well be true, but see, what they're trying to do with that, they're using that to further stigmatize mental health conditions and those of us who have them. And so you demonize and you stigmatize. And the fact is, even if, say, something such as PTSD, which I was diagnosed with several years ago, the overwhelming majority, excuse me, scratch my eyes, it's allergy season in Dallas. It's always allergy season in Dallas. Excuse me, geez. The overwhelming majority of people with PTSD are nonviolent. I don't know the percentages, they probably don't have exact percentages, but the overwhelming majority are nonviolent, kind of quietly suffer, and self-destruct and all that kind of stuff, which is horrible in and of itself, which is exactly why we don't need people demonizing it and stigmatizing it. The military veteran who killed those cops in Dallas several years ago, I think it was 2016, he supposedly had PTSD, and understand that he's the exception, not the rule. That the overwhelming majority of vets and other people with PTSD are nonviolent. And it was just that, it was upsetting. They went straight to, well, he had PTSD, no wonder he did it. And that's not how that works. That's not how PTSD works. And these are talking heads on the media and politicians and idiot politicians who don't know a fucking thing about mental health conditions. And they're making a lot of assumptions, and they're leaping to conclusions. They're working backward from their own conclusions. So just wanted to say, just beware of that. That's not the full picture. Just to instantly go to, well, he was mentally ill, that's not anywhere close to the full picture. It's like looking at just a small corner of a painting and think that you know what the whole painting is. Okay, along those same lines, I recently passed 3 years of sobriety. Today makes 3 years and 18 days, May 25th. And I'm happy about that. For me, it's an enormous accomplishment. And I'm happy about that. I do feel empowered by that. At the same time, I'm a little frustrated that stability, at least financial stability, has not followed, and job stability. So by May 31st, I will be losing my health insurance, which means that I'll have to drastically cut back on my therapy and only go like maybe once a month or so whenever I can afford a $200 session. And for anyone who think that's pricey, it's worth it. I have an amazing therapist, and she has, and the center that she works in has offered me a lot of assistance over the years, and I've received a lot of free sessions and low-cost sessions and everything. So we'll figure something out where I can at least get in once a month and pay the full fee until Lord knows when I'll be able to get health insurance again. It's the health insurance mafia, and that's where our system is really broken. And even with the organizations like NAMI, National Alliance on Mental Illness, and others. Now, for instance, NAMI offers free group sessions and support and things like that, but it's few and far between getting financial assistance. For instance, I need to keep my therapist, and that's the case for a lot of people, and that's where a lot of people fall through the cracks even once they get therapy, is I need to keep my therapist, and for reasons I just listed. And in addition to that I've made incredible progress over the last 4.5 years that I've seen her, and there needs to be more support systems in place to help people get and keep the therapist of their choice. And that's where ACA fails us. It was a lie. I hate to agree with the Republicans, but it was a lie that Obamacare let you keep your doctor if you wanted to keep your doctor. That was just a bald-faced lie. Just like Joe Biden and the Democrats lied on the campaign trail in 2020 when they said, "Oh, we'll give you the public option. If you can't afford health insurance, we'll have the public option." And it's funny how just before voting day, that those two words completely vanished from the Democratic vocabulary, from the Democrats' vocabulary. Well, I don't want to get too political about it because it's a very personal thing, and what I'm putting out there, and this is why I do my podcasts and videos. This is why I do those recovery workshop seminars through UT Southwestern Medical Center, and all the mental health advocacy I do for NAMI. I'm putting it out there, putting my story out there just as a constant reminder that more resources are needed, that there's way too many people who still need help. For instance, and I talk about this in my presentation I made at the NAMI State Conference last November, that only 1% to 5% of people with PTSD ever get treatment for it, ever. 2/3 of people with PTSD are unemployed. Now, I'm employed using this quick app and working for Silvertray Staffing on a gig basis, but those aren't stable. And so technically I'm employed, but not things that are stable and reliable. And that's what, well, pretty much anyone needs that, unless they inherited a bunch of money. Good for them if they did. So, saying we need to do better. I'm going to redouble my efforts on everything, my podcasts and videos, and mental health advocacy for NAMI. And June 26th, we have an in-person recovery workshop seminar I'm excited about that. I'm going to redouble my efforts on all that. Try to lead by example. So, want to put it out there, and reminder to anyone that's really disturbed. Well, I think most people are, but people that are getting actually triggered by the massacre in Uvalde, there's no other way to term it, that you have to shut off the news. You have to turn off that fucking TV. Don't read the newspapers. Don't read the social media posts about it. The stories that come up on Facebook and all that stuff and Twitter, you have to just scroll through, or else you're going to get triggered, and that does you no favors, because it's something you can't do anything about. So, not that you can't stop advocating for gun safety and all that, but you can do that apart from following those stories closely when they trigger you like that. So that's what I'm doing for myself, and just a reminder, and also a reminder again that do not let them demonize and stigmatize mental health conditions. I do think that there are people in this world that just want to do evil. And yes, that's probably tied to mental health conditions in some form, but remember that the overwhelming majority of people, take schizophrenia for instance, and just any number of mental health conditions, the overwhelming majority, probably 98-99%, are non-violent. So don't let them demonize it. Don't let them stigmatize it. We need to end the stigma and end the silence, as we say at NAMI, and keep moving forward. So onward and upward, and remember, luminous beings are we. Y'all take care.